Herein lies the answer to the age-long question. Why is it that if God is the God of the universe, there are believers who are suffering, there are children who are crying across the globe? How can a loving God be seated upon his throne and is watching children in Africa die, whereas there are people who are renting jets and renting a lot of things and wasting their lives, and it looks like God is watching them? Listen to me. God gave every man a will, and not even him will violate that will. At the expense of your eternal destiny, he allows you to choose whether you want to hand your life to him or not. And if you reject him, he will respect your decision. Even when Satan rebelled against him in heaven, he respected his decision. Unfortunately, every decision comes with consequences. It was not that God got up and decided to punish Satan. The judgment of Satan was the consequence of rebellion. Are we together? This is very powerful. So when we see people cry and die and scrounge around in our society, is a violation largely. Now, demon spirits have taken advantage of that state, but they are taking advantage of that state because they already know that there is a dimension of the power of God invested in principles. Watch this. So a gentleman gets up one day. I'm not talking of someone who is born again. We're believers, but I hope you understand why I'm teaching you this way. So a gentleman who is not even saved just gets up and reads a book, maybe a book written by Bill Gates or a book written by any great man, and makes up his mind that I'm going to take my destiny by my hands. Are we together? Now, this is somebody who is not saved and makes up his mind to walk with the things that are written there. He begins to change his attitude. He begins to subject himself through all kinds of things. He subscribes to mentorship. Are we together? Educate his mind. You will find out that the reality of that man begins to change. Remember our definition of power? The ability to control and to manipulate your outcome. The once poor and wretched gentleman suddenly begins to change. His life is changing. This gentleman has refused to accept the person of Jesus, but he has adopted the principles of Jesus. They may not acknowledge him as the author of those principles, but please, I want you to believe me that if you ever see any manifestation of power, it is because there's a dimension of God's power programmed in laws.